So, good morning, students. Uh, so, today's class is a small new chapter about minerals. You have already studied vitamins, okay? So, vitamins and minerals are connected, okay? Okay. So, vitamins and minerals are connected. So, this is a small new chapter. So, what is there in your syllabus? There are some minerals and about their brief explanation. So you have to remember that I am simply not giving everything in detail. Okay, so it is going through important functions of these minerals and what it is you should know, not in great detail. So let us see before what are minerals. Okay, what are these minerals? What are these minerals? Okay, so minerals are inorganic substances obtained from earth, we can say, in which account for about 40% of body weight. You have seen carbohydrate, protein, fat, they are required in large quantities, then vitamins required in less quantities. These minerals also required in less quantities, in milligrams and micrograms. Okay, but they are absolutely essential for the growth, maintenance, repair, and regulation of vital body functions. So, I can give a best example. The first mineral is the calcium. You know that calcium is the main macro element which is distributed everywhere in the body, where bone, teeth, all places it is required. If any problem with the calcium, there is a degeneration of the bone, okay, mainly. So that is the importance of these minerals. So fluid balance, they are required sodium, potassium, chloride. For water balance, these minerals are required. Okay, they are some structural components, these minerals. As I told, calcium required for bone and teeth. They are also structural components of soft tissues in the liver, muscle, and all. Even sulfur is a fundamental constituent of skin, hair, nail, and all. Okay, for a nerve cell transmission, this sodium and potassium is required for muscle contraction. So this calcium is also involved in blood coagulation and factor 4. So all these are some of the functions of this minerals. Okay, this is not so important slide, just as an introduction. Okay, so see, let us see very briefly the classification of these minerals. If the requirement of a mineral is more than 100 milligram per day, then those minerals are called macro minerals. If the requirement is more than 100 milligram per day, they are macro minerals or major element. If the daily requirement of a mineral is less than 100 milligram per day, then those minerals are called micro minerals or trace elements. Okay, based on their daily requirement, minerals are classified into major minerals or macro elements. Macro minerals are major elements and micro minerals are trace element. Both are, the meaning is same. Okay, so major elements or macro minerals, mainly calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, sodium, potassium, chloride, and sulfur, all are inorganic. Okay, trace elements are micro minerals are iron, iodine, copper, manganese, zinc, molybdenum, selenium, fluoride, and cobalt. Okay, so these are the micro minerals. So major and trace elements. Okay, So these calcium, magnesium, electrolytes, sodium, potassium, chloride are called as electrolytes. They required more than 100 milligram. You know that sodium is we are daily using table salt, which is required approximately 100 or more than 100 milligrams. You know that 1 milligram is 1000, 1 gram is 1000 milligram. So 0.1 gram is required. Just 1/3 of the tablespoon, we can say. Okay. There is one more classification: major and trace elements. Third one, we can say trace element with no known function, means their exact function unknown. They are included under trace elements, but their exact functions are unknown, like lead, mercury, barium, boron, aluminum, bromine, and all. Remember, these when excess, it is a poison, okay, toxic. But they are there, but their functions known, but exact functions not known. Those are called trace elements with no known function. Their exact function is unknown. But these two you have to remember: major elements and trace elements. Okay. Now let us directly come to calcium. Is the first major element. And remember that the calcium is one of the most abundant mineral in the body. The total content of the body calcium is 1 to 1.5 kilogram. Okay, 1 to 1.5 kilogram kg. Because why? It is present in the bone, of which present in the bone, most of them, 99%, is present in the bone, and rest in extracellular fluid, that is in the blood. So total, because this is the most abundant mineral out of all, okay, out of all calcium, phosphorus, and all sodium, potassium, this is the most abundant mineral in the body. The total body content of calcium is 1 to 1.5 kg. In that, most 99% present in the body, rest mostly present in the blood, that is about 1%. So normal range of calcium in the blood is 9 to 11 milligram per dl. This you have to remember. What is the normal range of calcium in the blood? Multiple choice you may get, one word you may get. Also you required for calcium homeostasis. Okay, what is the normal range of calcium in the blood? 9 to 11 milligram per dl. Okay. So what are the source of calcium? Milk and milk product are rich source of calcium. This you have to remember. That is the reason growing children's, not growing children's, in the this one, children usually they take milk. Okay. The one of the reason is it contains it is rich in calcium. So milk and milk products also, curd and other things, rich source of calcium. Other than egg, fish, mutton, dates, and vegetables are a good source of calcium. So what is RDA? Recommended dietary allowance: adult 0.8 gram per day, children 0.8 to 1.2 gram per day. Why? Because growing bone required more calcium. Pregnancy and lactation, 1.5 gram per day calcium is required. Okay, so it is in the gram. Okay, remember, because they are required approximately more than 100 milligrams per day. It is a macro element. So milk and milk product is a rich source of calcium. How calcium is absorbed? In brief, calcium is absorbed in the duodenum against concentration gradient. So again, no need to go detail, as I told. This is one of the type of transport mechanism in the cell against concentration gradient, opposite to concentration gradient, which requires energy. Okay, ATP is required. Like your simple diffusion or osmosis diffusion, just to movement from the region of the lower concentration to the region of higher concentration, energy is not required. But against the concentration gradient, here energy is required. So absorption required calcium binding protein. Remember, CBP is calcium binding protein which requires energy. Okay. So there are some factors which promote calcium absorption. One is calcitriol. Calcitriol is nothing, triol means nothing but active form of vitamin D. 125 dihydroxy cholecalciferol is the active form of vitamin D, that is calcitriol. You already studied vitamin D under fat soluble vitamin. So calcitriol is 125 dihydroxy cholecalciferol is the active form of vitamin D. So calcitriol facilitates the absorption of calcium by inducing the synthesis of cal binding protein, okay, in the intestinal mucosal cell. What is the function of cal binding protein? Absorption of calcium requires cal binding protein. Okay, so calcitriol facilitate absorption of calcium by inducing the synthesis of cal binding protein in the intestinal mucosal cells. This cal binding protein is required for the absorption of calcium. PTH means paratharmone. You know what is paratharmone? Paratharmone is secreted by parathyroid gland. Like thyroid gland, there are two pair means four small glands are located side by thyroid gland. They are called as parathyroid gland. These parathyroid glands secrete paratharmone. What is the importance of paratharmone? It may be studied in anatomy. What is the importance of parathyroid hormone? It is required for calcium homeostasis. Okay, because it is hypercalcemic hormone. So its deficiency may cause tetany. Okay. So it indirectly paratharmone stimulate calcium absorption by promoting the synthesis of calcitriol. Indirect, because it promotes the synthesis of calcitriol, vitamin D. So thereby it indirectly stimulate calcium absorption. Even gastric acidity favors calcium absorption. Lactose, okay, which is a disaccharide, amino acid like lysine and arginine also facilitate calcium absorption. So important calcitriol. What is the calcitriol? Active form of vitamin D. Okay. So paratharmone and gastric acidity, some amino acid like lysine and arginine also facilitate calcium absorption. There are some factors which inhibit, that blocks calcium absorption. Inhibition means blockage. Phytate and oxalate mainly present in green vegetables, green leaves. Phytate and oxalates, okay, from the green leaves form insoluble calcium oxalate. Thereby calcium is unavailable for absorption. High dietary phosphate, because calcium precipitate as calcium phosphate, so that will interfere. Free calcium is not unavailable for absorption, because in the presence of high dietary phosphate, calcium precipitate as calcium phosphate. High pH, that is alkaline, and high dietary fibers also like cellulose, dietary fibers, they interfere calcium absorption. Some malabsorption syndrome, in case fatty acids not absorbed, instead they form insoluble calcium salt of fatty acid. This is some of the malabsorption syndrome. In such cases, fatty acids are form salt with calcium, salts of fatty acid. So finally, ultimately, what calcium is unavailable for absorption. So there are some factors which promote absorption of calcium. There are some factors which inhibit absorption of calcium. Okay, cal binding protein which is required. Okay, absorption requires cal binding protein. Okay. What are the functions of calcium? There are many functions of calcium. We will see few only here. 9 functions. Bone and teeth. As a calcium name comes, bone and teeth is there. Bone and teeth they required. For the formation of bone and teeth, calcium is required. bones are reservoir of calcium in the body. As I told in the source beginning, 99% of the calcium is stored in the bone. So bone is the reservoir of calcium in the body. So there are two types of the bone cells. One is osteoblast and other one is osteoclast. Osteoblasts are required for bone deposition, means the deposition of calcium in the mineral in the bone. What is the function of osteoclast? Demineralization. Demineralization means removing calcium from the bone. So osteoblast and osteoclast are two types of bone cells. Okay. So second function of calcium is required for muscle contraction. Calcium mediate excitation and contraction of muscle fiber. Calcium interact with troponin C, which is a protein. Calcium interact with troponin C to trigger muscle contraction. Calcium activate ATPase enzyme, which increases interaction between actin and myosin. Actin and myosin again muscle protein. I think you have to studied in physiology muscle contraction. Okay, so for muscle contraction calcium is required. Okay. Third function we can see nerve conduction, transmission of nerve impulses from presynaptic to postsynaptic region. Calcium is required. Secretion of some hormones also calcium is required. Calcium indirectly it mediates the secretion of insulin, parathormone, calcitonin and vasopressin. Insulin is hyperglycemic hormone which increase the blood, hypoglycemic hormone which regulate the blood sugar, which decrease the blood sugar. Parathormone, as I told, secreted by parathyroid gland. Okay. Which is secreted depend on the calcium level. Actually parathormone is hypercalcemic agent which increase the serum calcium level, that you will see in the calcium homeostasis. Okay. Regulation of calcium. So secretion of certain hormone mediates the that is the function of calcium, that calcium mediates the secretion of insulin, parathormone, calcitonin. Calcitonin is hypocalcemic hormone which decreases the serum calcium level. Calcitonin. See, calcitriol and parathormone are hypercalcemic, but this calcitonin secreted by the kidney is hypocalcemic, means it decreases the serum calcium level. Vasopressin is another hormone which is also called as antidiuretic hormone. Okay, vasopressin is an antidiuretic hormone. Okay, again this vasopressin is required for the regulation of the water balance. Okay, antidiuretic hormone, regulation of water balance is required. So it calcium is required for the which mediates the secretion of vasopressin, calcitonin, insulin and PTH hormones like. So calcium act as a second messenger. Calcium and cyclic AMP are two messengers of different hormones. See, for our hormone action there is a first messenger and second messenger is there. First messenger is hormone itself. Second messengers are like cyclic AMP. Here calcium and cyclic AMP are the two messengers of different hormones like glucagon. Glucagon means hyperglycemic hormone which increase the blood sugar. Okay. The sixth function of calcium is membrane, which is required for cell membrane integrity and permeability. So calcium influences transport of number of substances across the membranous barrier. Okay, so thereby it is required for membrane integrity and permeability. So calcium is also required for blood coagulation. Coagulation is clotting of the blood coagulation procedure. Okay, that also you may be studying in pathology, or again you may be studying in physiology. See, factor fourth is calcium. Okay, factor fourth of coagulation cascade is calcium. So calcium is factor fourth. There are 10 factors in blood coagulation. So factor fourth is nothing but calcium. So which is required for the conversion of prothrombin to inactive to active thrombin. Okay, which is required for the conversion of prothrombin, which is inactive to active thrombin. So which is factor 4 is calcium itself. Thereby calcium plays an important role in blood coagulation. Eighth function is action on heart. Calcium prolongs systole. Okay. Muscle contraction, heart muscle contraction. Okay, relaxation. There are two, systole and diastole. Contraction. Okay, muscle contraction, that is systole. Calcium prolongs systole. By increased calcium concentration increases myocardial contractility. Okay, myocardial contractility. Okay, so thereby it prolongs systole. You know that blood pressure, there are two terms, systole and diastole. These walls are contract and they relax. Okay, so ninth function is activation of certain enzyme. Calcium is required for the activation of certain enzymes. As calcium, how it is required for activation of enzyme, as calcium calmodulin complex, they form as calcium calmodulin complex. Calmodulin is a calcium binding CBP, calcium binding protein. Okay, CBP we said, CBP, calcium binding protein. Which one? Calmodulin is a calcium binding protein. Calcium calmodulin complex, okay, activates many enzymes. Okay, calmodulin is a calcium binding protein which can bind with the 4 calcium ions at a time. So calmodulin is a calcium binding protein which can bind at least 4 calcium ions at a time to form calcium calmodulin complex, which activates many enzymes. That is the this one action. Okay, function of calcium as activation of enzymes, either as calcium calmodulin complex which activate many enzymes. Okay, second one, direct action for the activation of enzymes. Some enzymes are directly activated by calcium, like pancreatic lipase is directly activated by calcium, and renin also. Okay, protein enzyme breakdown directly activated by calcium, where here calcium act as a metal activator. You know that activators, cofactors, briefly you studied in enzyme chapter. These are the 9 functions of calcium. Okay, these are the 9 functions of calcium. Calcium is required for bone and teeth, muscle contraction it is required, nerve conduction, secretion of hormones, as a second messenger for membrane integrity and permeability, blood coagulation, because calcium itself is factor 4th. Okay, action of heart, calcium is required. For activation of certain enzymes, calcium is required as indirectly or directly. Now let us see in brief about calcium homeostasis. Okay, what is the normal range of calcium? I told to remember, that is 9 to 11 milligram per dl. Okay, so what is the meaning of homeostasis? Means, see, this 9 to 11 milligram per dl in the blood calcium level is need to maintain. It is very important to maintain this level, because you see in the functions of calcium. Calcium is required for muscle contraction, for development of bone and teeth. Okay, there are many more functions of calcium, so it is necessary to maintain blood calcium level. How to maintain this? There are different factors, hormones involved in this. All together is called calcium homeostasis. Nothing but to maintain the serum calcium normal level 9 to 11 milligram per dl. That is called homeostasis of calcium. Remember, students, this homeostasis of calcium may be 5 or sometimes 10 marks question. So first you have to write the normal range of calcium is 9 to 11 milligram per dl. How to maintain this? There are some major factors that regulate the plasma calcium. Okay, calcitriol. What is calcitriol? You studied in vitamin D, repeated active form of vitamin D. Then parathormone, PTH, calcitonin. So remember students, calcitriol and parathyroid hormones PTH are hypercalcemic. They increase serum calcium level. But calcitonin is opposite, which decrease hypocalcemic, which decrease serum calcium level. Okay. So calcitriol has hypercalcemic effect. It acts on intestine, kidney and bone. What is the action of calcitriol on intestine? It induces the synthesis of cal-binding protein in the intestinal mucosa, which increase the calcium absorption. You have seen cal-binding protein is required for calcium absorption. So what is the function of calcitriol as a hypercalcemic effect? It induces the synthesis of cal-binding protein in the intestinal mucosa, which increases the absorption of calcium. What is the action of calcitriol on the kidney? Calcitriol enhances the reabsorption of calcium. Thereby, it increases serum calcium level. So, what is the action of calcitriol on bone? Okay. Vitamin D, calcitriol, enhances osteoblastic activity of bones. Osteoblast means bone cells which required for mineralization of bone, deposition of calcium on the bone. So what is the action of calcitriol on the bone? Vitamin D. Vitamin D is active form of vitamin D is calcitriol. No, vitamin D enhances osteoblastic activity of bones, thus promote calcification of bone, deposition of calcium on the bone, which is nothing but bone formation. It also causes bone resorption during hypocalcemia. Okay, bone resorption means removing calcium mineral from the bone, so that these calcium get back into blood to avoid lower concentration of calcium in the blood. So it enhances calcification of bone. Meantime, it also causes bone resorption during hypocalcemia. If blood calcium level is less than 9, then bone resorption takes place, means removal of calcium from the bone. Okay, in order to maintain calcium level, because you will see in the later deficiency manifestations of calcium, hypocalcemia can cause tetany, a condition, dangerous life threatening condition. Okay, so these are the three action of calcium. These are the three factors which regulate calcium: calcitriol, parathormone and calcitonin. Calcitriol and parathormone are hypercalcemic, calcitonin is hypocalcemic. So calcitriol action on intestine, kidney and bone seen. So what is the action of parathormone, which is required for demineralization of bone, osteoclastic activity? Okay, demineralization of the bone. So, okay, demineralization of the bone, osteoclastic activity, elevate the serum calcium by demineralization of the bone, removing the calcium from the bone. Okay, so it increases the calcium reabsorption by the renal tubule, parathormone. Also it increases intestinal absorption of calcium by promoting the synthesis of calcitriol. This is the indirect action of parathormone. Third one, increases intestinal absorption of calcium by promoting the synthesis of calcitriol, vitamin D. So parathormone promoting the synthesis of calcitriol. This calcitriol increases the intestinal absorption of calcium. That is the indirect action of parathormone. Okay, by promoting the synthesis of calcitriol. So action of parathormone, it it increases the serum calcium level by demineralization of bone, removing the calcium. Okay, osteoclastic effect, because osteoblast required for mineralization means deposition of calcium. Osteoclast activity, demineralization, removing the mineral, that is calcium. So also PTH increases the calcium absorption by the renal tubule. Third one, as I told, it is indirect action. Parathormone promote the synthesis of vitamin D active form, thereby increase the absorption of calcium. Okay, so we will see next next class. Okay.